So today we are doing some advanced color grading techniques that are easy, but they're gonna have a big impact on the overall finished color grade of your footage. So glad to have you back, glad to be back. Let's get into it. All right, so the first one is something that I see all the time. This is super easy to fix, but I see a lot of people shooting video at sunset or dusk time, and they will leave the bottom half of their footage like almost black because they're trying to color grade to show the sunset. So I've got a really easy way to fix that and make everything visible, the ground level and the sky and all the stuff that you want to show in your video. All right, so instead of having a totally wasted clip where you can't really see anything, or having some crazy color grade where it's just super flat, what we can do is go down here and create an adjustment layer. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and put this over all of our footage, and I'm just gonna cut it. Now each one has their own adjustment layer, and it's gonna make this whole process pretty simple. So now what we're going to do is just go in here, go to the Lumetri color panel, and we're going to recolor grade it just for this dark section of the photo. Okay, so I'm just bumping up the exposure, lowering the contrast a little bit. Sounds like my computer's about to fly away. This fan is working like crazy. Okay, so what we're gonna do is go in, change that to be a little smaller so we can see. And we're just gonna go in here and we're gonna use this free draw Bezier, if that's how you say it. And we're just gonna draw the horizon line basically. So we're gonna box that out. And then you can change the feather to be a little bit more gradual. You don't want it to be like just a harsh cut line where one part's darker and then one part's lighter. And watch this. Once you click out of it, suddenly, boom, you've got a extended dynamic range color grade. Really cool. So instead of wasting that shot, now you've got the nice bright sunset with the sun flare, and you can see all this information, and it's all nice and colorful and rich. So this shot was pretty much staying at the same level the whole time, but if your shot is moving up or down, you're going to have to keyframe it to where that mask changes. So let me just copy this over to this one. So same normal preset. So we're just going to start over with the mask, okay? And what we want to do is same thing. I'll make this 25% just so it's really easy to draw outside of the frame. Okay, you can just pull that to do the feathering also. That's kind of handy. So we're going to change the color a little bit to where it blends better, but this way it's easy to see while I'm doing this. I'm just going to leave it as is for now. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to set it to where the mask is going to move as the drone shot moves throughout the frame. So all you need to do is click this. That's going to set a keyframe for that part. And then depending on how much it's moving, we can do another keyframe. This is like a really steady movement, so I think that's probably all you need. If it's a more complicated movement, you'll have to do maybe like 3, 5 plus keyframes to make sure that it's not getting way off. Okay, so then we're going to check this at the end and change it a little bit to where it's gonna match better. So we're just going to lower that exposure to where it's not so extreme. And warm it up a little bit because it was in the shadow. The sun was behind it, so it was on the colder color side of the house. Okay, so instead of that where you can see the sunset nicely exposed and the house just looks all blue and cold and dark. So once we add that mask back in, you can see pretty much everything. The shot is way more effective in telling about the location, about the context of the house, or whatever type of video this is. You're basically just extending that dynamic range like crazy and making a much better final shot. All right, so the next common thing that I wanted to address is if you're doing a shot that is going from interior to exterior or the other way around, there's a really simple way to get those exposures locked in to where everything looks good the whole time and you're not having to overexpose or underexpose one of them. Kind of like the last example, but a little bit more technical. It's gonna take a little bit longer to do, but the results can be totally worth it if it's an important shot for your video. So we're on our adjustment layer, we're going to the Lumetri color panel, and we're going to color grade just looking at this outside area. So the bricks, the plants, all the stuff. Okay, so that's already starting to pop a lot more. Usually what happens is like one of them will get really washed out looking if you don't do this. So that's what we're trying to compensate for and avoid. All right, so we're back in the effects control panel, Lumetri color, free draw tool, and we're just going to do it the inside of this door frame. Okay, so this one I'm going to do an inverted one because it's easier to draw that part of the door frame. Okay, so what do? We add this mask path keyframe, and then a few more frames later we're going to do the same thing. We're going to expand it a little bit. It'll all depend on, like how complicated your camera movement is, how many of these you're gonna have to do. If you're planning on doing something like this, you can be strategic about it and just shoot like a really straightforward camera movement to where it's gonna be easier to draw your mask in. So always be shooting to edit. That's my strategy, at least. So you can see it moves and it's following that door frame. It just works its way out of the frame and then just got your nice color grade for the inside and you're good to go. So I've seen lots of people use this same exact technique to pull in perfect window views for real estate videos. The only problem is most of the time there are like random objects in front of windows and like lamps or plants or furniture. So the main scenarios where I see this being actually practical for the amount of time that it takes are for like really modern houses where there's like clean lines, there's unobstructed window views, and situations like that where it's not going to take you like 5 hours to mask in one window view. So if you're doing some crazy luxury property where that's the selling point, it might be worth the time, but for most cases, for residential areas where the view is not that important, I wouldn't waste the time on it, to be honest. So definitely something that I would save for special occasions. All right, so that's it. I've got a link down below the video to download the footage for yourself. Maybe rewatch the video and try to work along with it. See what you can do, try it out on your own projects, and have some fun with it. A couple quick updates. Course number 1 is done. I'm done editing it. Super excited about this first one especially. Obviously the future ones are going to be a little bit more niche and fun to do, like the flash and the video stuff, but this first one is really good, setting up a firm foundation for getting into this industry, learning how to do photography and starting a business, working with clients, setting up your website, getting those first locations and all that stuff. So super excited to get that published and available to you guys coming soon, and I can't wait to see how it helps you. All right, so that's it for this video. Got some fun stuff coming up for this month besides the course, so stay tuned.